Good morning. It is 9:45 in the morning. I'm half asleep, and yeah, that's pathetic. There's plenty of people in the world who wake up at like 6:30 and they think that's late. So good for you if you're one of those people. I'm not one of those people. I work all week, so on the weekends I like to sleep in, and I could definitely sleep in later than 9:45, but that's not what we're talking about today. So today, I'm gonna be making, what the hell? I'm making sourdough everything bagels. So I'm super excited because I love bagels, and obviously, as you probably know if you watch any of my videos, I love sourdough and I love baking and I love all those things. And also on top of that, another thing that I love that's going to be introduced in this video, everything seasonings. This stuff is the best shit ever. I mean, you can get probably any brand, they're probably about the same thing. It's just a blend of poppy seeds, sesame seeds, onion, garlic, salt. I don't even know what else is in here. Okay, I think that's it. Sesame seeds, salt, garlic, onion, sesame seeds, and poppy seeds. Oh, I forgot poppy seeds. Yeah, so don't take a drug test after you eat this. That stuff is gonna be the seasoning for my bagels, obviously, since they are everything bagels, but you could do anything you want. You could make any kind of bagel. You could do salt on top, make it a salt bagel. You could do just onion or whatever, just sesame seeds, just poppy seeds, however kind of bagel you like. Or if you like a blueberry bagel or a cinnamon raisin bagel, whatever the heck you like. I don't like that I just said heck. Whatever you like, you could just add it into the bagel when you're folding or when you're mixing all your ingredients together, and then there you go. You've got whatever kind of bagel you want. You can even just make it plain, honestly, obviously. But yeah, so today I'm making an everything bagel because that's what I like. And yeah, so we're gonna get started. I'm gonna show you how to do it. And by the way, the recipe for this is based on the bread recipe that I typically use, but I'm still gonna show you today how to make it. Because I've kind of, since I've gotten better and better at making this recipe, I've done a little bit of my own twist on things, so it's definitely become more my recipe as opposed to just a book recipe, but it is based off of Bonnie Ohara's Bread Baking for Beginners. This is the intermediate sourdough recipe. Well, it comes from the intermediate sourdough recipe, but like I said, it's taken a little bit of a turn in my own direction. So yeah, let's get started. I'll show you how I do this. So this is the starter for the recipe. So this isn't the actual starter, this is just the starter that I prepared last night. I didn't show that because I'll be honest, I completely forgot to, but this is just 50 grams of my mature sourdough starter with 150 grams of flour and 150 grams of water mixed together and left for 12 hours, so overnight, until it could pretty much double in size, which it has. I did do it a little late, so I made this about 9 o'clock last night. So it fell a bit, as you can probably see, but it's still not doubled in size. It's going to be perfectly fine. I did a blend of half rye and half just unbleached all-purpose flour. That's what works best for me, and that's what I see is the best results when you're making sourdough, is when you add at least a little bit of rye flour. You'll see what flour blend I use in my recipe. I use a higher percentage of all-purpose just because I like just a little bit of that rye. The rye can get a little overwhelming, so you don't want to overdo it by any means. But yeah. So yeah, here's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna get started, and yeah, you're gonna see how this gets done, okay? Yeah. Okay, so here's my scale. This is from Amazon. I'm gonna add my bowl, and I'm gonna tare the scale. I mean, I honestly could just tear it after I add in my starter, but whatever, too late for that now. So I'm gonna add my starter in. So then, to this I'm gonna be adding in 720 grams of water. So here I have a nice big jug of warm water. Honestly, you just dip your finger in. If it feels very warm to you, that means that it's way too hot for the bread. So we're gonna add it in. Also, I'm using tap water for this recipe. So usually I use a purified water because sourdough reacts best to that. But for bagels, I'm gonna make the exception. I'm gonna use a tap water. I mean, usually in Brooklyn, they make bagels with Brooklyn tap waters because that's what adds some flavor. But you know, I ain't living in Brooklyn right now. I got family in Brooklyn, so I don't know if that helps at all, but nope, I'm in the suburbs of Philadelphia, so this is suburban Philadelphia water. 120. Now I'm gonna slosh this around. And you want it to get bubbly like this. So you see how it's getting frothy and bubbly? You want to get it real nice and bubbly. And then right on top of this, I'm going to start by adding, oh, first let me tear the scale. We don't want to mess the numbers up like that. So this is just all purpose. I leave it in a container to make it easier. So I'm going to add that right on top, and we're going to go, so we're going to be adding 1,000 grams of flour in, so by percentage wise. So this is going to be about, I want to say 200 to 300 grams of this. So we're going to do about 200 to 300 grams of just regular unbleached all-purpose. Okay, so I guess we're going 300. And then I'm going to be using some unbleached bread flour. And this is what it makes up majority of my bread recipes because it gives it that nice, good protein and texture. So let's add that in. We're going to go to about 600, maybe even a little more. Alright, so then I'm going to add in some rye flour. And this, for the purpose of the bagel recipe, I'm not going to add in too much rye. I'm just going to do a little bit so it helps with the whole rising process because starter loves rye, or any whole grain in general. But so we're only going to go maybe 50 to 100. Okay, that's about good. And then the rest is going to be made up with some whole wheat flour. There we go. Of course, you go over one. And last, but definitely not least, I'm going to be adding in some, okay, what is that? Is that a hair? Some kosher salt. So this is going to be about 20 grams of salt. There we go. So now that we have everything in here, I'm going to just use my hand, clean hands, and we're just going to get everything mixed together. So this is, since I added 720 grams of water, it's going to be a little bit of a looser bread dough instead of a more typically hard one that you usually see. So now that this is just folded, I'm gonna let it sit for 20 minutes, and here comes the annoying part. Every 20 minutes for the next 2 hours and 20 minutes, I'm gonna give this about 10 folds just until it tightens up a bit. I know you really love me talking with this hand. But yeah, so we're gonna give this about 20 minutes to rest, and then I'm gonna fold it about 10 rotations, I would say, and then leave it for another 20 minutes, and we're gonna continue that for 2 hours and 20 minutes. Sounds terrible, I know. It's actually not too bad. I'll fill you in so you can see what it looks like progressively throughout this process, and then I will catch you up later. So this is going to be the last fold, and then it's going to sit for about an hour and a half. As you can see, it's definitely risen quite a bit. Right now it's going to sit for about an hour and a half like I just said. We're going to leave it, and I'll see you then. Alright, so we are nice and nice and risen. So now I'm going to put the dough onto the floured surface, and we are going to shape this bad boy into 10 different pieces. And I figured that out because the grams total for this entire batch is about 2,000, and we want each one to be about 20 grams. So, is that math right? 200 grams. We want each one to be about 200 grams. Now we're going to start by shaping them into the round balls and then making circles into them, and then we're going to place them on the baking sheet so that we're going to turn them into little bagel shapes. So here's all the shaped big boys. We're gonna leave them to proof for a little bit, and then we're gonna get to the next step, which is boiling them. So as you can see, there are some air bubbles, which is a nice characteristic of any kind of sourdough, which is gonna make these a little bit different than a typical bagel. Also, they are very oddly shaped. So yeah, but I'm pretty sure they're still gonna be really good, and I can't wait to see how they turn out. Alright, so right here I have some water boiling. I added in a little bit of sugar and some baking soda. Now you're gonna get to watch me attempt to get these off of this tray, because as you can see with this one, I already tried, and yeah, didn't go well. But yeah, so we're gonna put these into the boiling water, boil them for about a minute on each side, because they are a bit larger, actually more than a bit larger, much larger. And then we're gonna get them out, and we'll keep going, and then after all that's done, we'll tap them. Alright, so now we're going to dress them, and yes, they are gigantic, but that's alright, that's what we want here, because more bagel, more fun. By the way, I forgot to mention, I'm brushing it with almond milk and topping it with the everything seasoning I showed you in the beginning. Now they're gonna bake at 450 degrees for about 20 minutes, and we're gonna check on them and see if they need anything else, and yeah, that's basically it. So let's finish this. And we got us some bagels. Some of these do not look like bagels, but some of them look amazing. Like, wow, this one absolutely looks like a bagel. The rest of them are a little flat, which I think is because I kind of butchered them while trying to transfer them into the water, but I cannot wait to taste these. And here we are. So it took the bagels, I think I said like about 35 minutes, I want to say. They are a bit flat, and I think that's because of the way that I moved them from the tray on into the actual water to boil them. They got very stuck, so I think that really contributed to messing them up a bit, but they honestly look really good and they smell really good, so I don't think they're gonna be bad. I think they're just gonna be a little thin, like bagel thins. It's fine. Some of them look great, so here's one. This is the one I'm gonna cut open and try. As you can see, it's a bit thin for a bagel. I mean, it's not like thin, but it's definitely thinner than it should be. It got very brown on the top, the bottom as well, didn't burn. The seasoning stuck. It smells delicious, so let's cut it open, see what it looks like, and then let's try it. Fun fact, I worked in a bagel shop and I sucked at my job and I got fired. But yeah, one thing I did learn was how to properly cut a bagel, which I'm not doing right now, but that's because I don't want to mess up all of the seasoning. Ooh, this came out much better than I was hoping. So are you ready for this? Look at all of those air bubbles. Oh, it smells so good. Wow. I typically like my bagels toasted, so I kind of want to just toast it and try it out. Mmm. Oh yeah. I'm gonna toast it and give it like a real try. Then I'm gonna put some butter on top, and we're gonna try it for real. Okay, so I have my toasted and buttered bagel, and I'm really excited to try this. I'm gonna try the side with the topping on it because obviously that's the best side. That is so good. My God. Mmm. It has the perfect texture of a bagel. That taste of sourdough, all the airy bubbles in there. Also, If you like it like me, toasted with butter, you're gonna love it because all the holes are gonna collect all that butter. If you have a day just to do nothing, I think you should do this. Well, let me clarify. If you have a whole day and the sourdough starter and you think about this the night before, you definitely should make this. It's honestly not that hard. The worst part was transferring it from the tray into the boiling water because, like I said, they got stuck. So if you flour yours properly and don't make mistakes like that, then you should be fine. But honestly, these are delicious. You can store them in the freezer for, I believe, like, I would say like a couple of months. You can slice them, you can put them in whole, it doesn't really matter, but I suggest slicing them and then freezing them because then you can just rip them apart, throw them in the toaster, and they taste super fresh. But yeah, give this a 10 out of 10. Honestly, it would be good with any kind of seasoning that you want to put on it. I'm so happy I did the everything because I love everything seasoning, but yeah. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna go eat the rest of this bagel right now, along with some grilled vegetables, which is why I'm sweating, but yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned next week to see what I do, or if I make anything, or if I even post a video, because, you know, I've been a little sporadic lately, but it's fine. Good things come with time, is what I like to say. Yeah, so make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment down below, and yeah, I will see you next week. Bye.